My name is Anakin, and today I will debate the Chosen One prophecy with 20 superheroes. My next claim is, Chosen Ones see truths others can't. That clarity makes you dangerous to those in power.
I've investigated cults, Anakin. Everyone has a chosen one. Everyone sees truths others can't. But that clarity isn't enlightenment. It's tunnel vision. You see the prophecy everywhere because you're looking for it. Confirmation bias masquerading as destiny. The people who are truly dangerous aren't chosen ones, seeing hidden truths. They're broken people, convincing themselves their brokenness is special. That's what you did. You looked at your darkness.
You investigate crimes. You look for what you can prove. The Force doesn't work that way. It exists beyond proof, beyond logic. I felt the prophecy in my bones. I didn't choose to see it. It was real. Your criminals are broken people. I was broken too, but my brokenness connected me to something larger. You see that as delusion. I see it as sensitivity. We're measuring truth on different scales.
No, we're both measuring the same thing. You just called your delusion destiny to feel less alone. The prophecy was comforting. It meant your pain had purpose. That's human. But purpose you invent isn't the same as purpose that exists. I've worked through that delusion myself. I've stopped seeing patterns that aren't there, and it freed me. You never did that. You stayed locked in the chosen one narrative until it destroyed everything.
The prophecy was fulfilled, Rust. Whether it was delusion or real doesn't matter anymore. Balance was achieved. That's not confirmation bias. That's measurable fact. You can call it coincidence. You can call it luck. But it happened. And it happened the way the prophecy said it would. Maybe I was broken. Maybe the darkness was mine alone. But I brought balance anyway. Delusion or truth, the result is the same. My next claim is, being chosen means you're alone. Your friends can't understand your burden because they weren't chosen.
I was alone for years, Anakin. The burden crushed me. But I learned something. My friends couldn't defeat Voldemort for me, but they saved me. They gave me reasons to fight. You isolated yourself and called it destiny. I isolated myself and called it protection. Both were wrong. Your friends could have understood your burden if you'd let them. But you didn't trust them. You trusted a prophecy instead. That was choice, not destiny.
You had allies who understood magic like you did. I had warriors who believed in order and control. They told me to suppress my emotions, to deny what I felt. They couldn't understand my visions, my fear, my need to save people I loved. You found friends who could relate. I found only judgment. That difference matters. You're right that I isolated myself. But I did it because isolation was the only place my burden made sense.
Then you made a mistake. You chose isolation instead of risking connection. I almost made the same choice, but I reached out instead, and it saved me. Not from the prophecy, from myself. You could have done that. You chose not to. That's not because you were more chosen than me. It's because you were more afraid.
I was more afraid. You're right. I was terrified of losing everyone. And my fear drove me to the dark side. If I'd been braver, maybe I would have reached out like you did. Maybe I would have let people help. But I didn't. I faced my burden alone and it destroyed me. You faced yours with friends and survived. We both achieved our goals. My next claim is that the prophecy writes the ending. You can't change it no matter how hard you try.
I had prophecies too, Anakin, and yes, they came true. But not the way I thought they would. The prophecies gave multiple meanings, multiple paths. I tried to change them and I couldn't, but I also didn't try hard enough. You stopped trying, you accepted the prophecy and let it carry you into darkness. I kept fighting even when the prophecy seemed set.
You were a kid with demigod powers and friends who believed in you. I was a kid with the weight of an entire galaxy on my shoulders. The scale is different. Yes, you fought. But you had options. I had one prophecy that said I would bring balance. One path forward. No alternatives. You interpret your prophecy as flexible. I couldn't interpret mine that way. The Force doesn't speak in riddles.
The Force spoke exactly how you needed it to speak. You heard what you wanted to hear. If you'd fought harder against your interpretation, You might have found other meanings, but you didn't. You accepted the dark path because it felt inevitable.
Maybe I could have fought harder. But at some point, you stop fighting and you accept. I reached that point. You kept fighting. That made you stronger than me. Not because you were more chosen, but because you refused to accept the prophecy as final. I should have done the same. My next claim is that logic can't explain everything. Some people feel truths that thinking can't reach.
Feeling masquerades as truth, Anakin, but it's just your brain making assumptions faster than you can articulate them. You felt the prophecy was true, but that feeling was your mind pattern matching, not reality speaking to you. I've seen brilliant people destroyed by trusting their intuition over evidence. You felt the dark side was necessary, but evidence suggested alternatives. You ignored the evidence because feeling was louder.
The Force isn't data you can measure. It's connection, presence. You can deduce that someone is lying by their body language, but you can't deduce love or destiny. Those exist beyond logic. The prophecy spoke through feeling, through presence in the Force. Your evidence is worthless because you're trying to measure something immeasurable. Logic is your tool. Mine was intuition. That doesn't make me wrong.
If the prophecy is unmeasurable, then it's unfalsifiable. That means it's not true or false. It's just noise your mind interprets as truth. The danger of your thinking is that you can never be wrong. Everything confirms the prophecy because you decide what counts as confirmation.
You measure everything and still miss what matters most. The Force brought balance, not through logic, through action, through sacrifice. You can pick apart my reasoning forever, but the prophecy was fulfilled. Your evidence can't explain that away. My next claim is true chosen ones transcend human morality. Ordinary rules of good and evil don't apply to them.
I served Galactus and consumed planets, Anakin. I believed I transcended morality because I served a greater power. But I was wrong. There is no transcendence of ethics. There is only rationalization. You told yourself the chosen one was above morality, but you were just a man choosing evil and calling it destiny. I served billions and caused billions to suffer. That suffering doesn't disappear because my service was cosmic. Neither does yours.
You served Galactus for survival. I served the prophecy for everyone's survival. The scale is different, but the principle is the same. You did what was necessary. So did I. The universe required balance. Balance required the dark side. Without darkness, there is no light. You understand sacrifice for larger purposes. I'm asking you to understand sacrifice of morality for those purposes too.
I understand it perfectly, and I learned it was wrong. I've transcended that thinking. The universe doesn't require genocide or darkness. That's what I tell myself as I wander the stars trying to atone. You still believe your darkness was necessary.
We're both wanderers now, both carrying weight. You atone for what you did. I've accepted what I became. Maybe there's no difference. Maybe we're both just broken beings trying to justify our choices. The prophecy is fulfilled. The balance is achieved. Whether it was worth the cost, I don't know anymore. Neither of us does.